Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Comanche with Willie Come Up. We've made it through a decent chunk of this week's Marvel books. Let's keep on trucking. Kicking things off with Captain Marvel number 10. So, last issue, while Philovel and L'Oreal were fighting the Undone in Maine at Carol's home. Carol, Yumi, and Yumi's classmate slash crush, Leonore, were inside the Undone, and Leonore's past as the Omen caught up with her, and she was forced to stab Yumi in the chest. And so, while Leonore tries to fight the influence of the Undone, Carol shares the energy of the Negabands to at least briefly stop Leonore, then to heal Yumi. And Carol tears off Leonore's the wings that were given to her by as an omen, and but Yumi's healed, and it seems like Yumi's wrench is absorbing energy, like much like Carol does. But Yumi, Carol, and Leonore deal with the Omen and destroy her from within, while Phyla and Laurie are, well, left dumbfounded, and the Undone states that they'll reform, and like into one being, not reform as their behavior. And Carol finds Genus Vell, and uses the remaining power of the Negabands to heal him, but destroys his Negabands, and he's appreciative of having been brought back, but he doesn't. The fact that the Negabands are destroyed, and that's all he has left of Genus Vell, of Marvel, well, he's not exactly happy about that. And he also states that he needs some space, even from Rick. But everyone else is happy. With Leonore stating that the Undone still has omens out cultivating other planets, and she'll be back. But Leonore's going to keep vigil until the Undone comes back, with Yumi opting to watch with her for however long it takes. The series ends with Carol's birthday party with Rick Jones, Billy and Terry, Yuma, L'Oreal, Philovel, and some of her friends from Maine, and that, like I said, that is where the series ends. Currently, there are not, to my knowledge, plans for another kind of Marvel series, but I figure we'll get one eventually. Moving on though to this is a nice run. I liked it. Moving on though to our next book, we've got the Immortal Thor, number 13. A few years ago, there was an Avengers miniseries called Long Road Home or No Way Home. But it among the things that occurred was that the Greek gods were killed by Nyx, goddess of night. There was also a barbarian from who is no longer whose comic books can no longer be published by Marvel that popped up into the Marvel universe, but that's not important. So the issue begins though. Thor has gone to Greece to talk with his old friend Hercules, explaining that right now, because of the spell that created Roxxon's Thor, he's a bit of his intellect is dulled while on Midgard, and well, he feels he's and his thinking slows and he becomes foolish. And he doesn't know how to manage that. And Hercules just kind of says, who better to teach you how to be a fool? But and Thor says that the problem is that this isn't really who he is. And in fact, Thor even states that looking into managing this spell that's befallen him isn't really Thor's thing. The Thor he knows will be looking into breaking the spell. But Hercules called on Thor, however, for a favor that he owed him, and when apparently the favor that is being called in is relating to what Thor's dealing with. Hercules saw news footage of Thor fight with Tornos, and above Tornos' thunder, he heard what Tornos said: "The wheel has turned." And Hercules has heard those words before from Zeus, reborn from death as a force of evil. Zeus spoke of a wheel that turned a dark age now upon us. And Thor says it sounds similar to what Gaia said about a time of trial upon the earth. And Thor belatedly apologizes for the death of Zeus, but Hercules was like, no worries. But Nyx is the one that killed the Greek gods, as stated earlier. Apparently Asgard knows of her. Tales tell of not the unlight, The mortals believed her born to giants, that she emerged from the void, but she emerged from the void itself. Apparently, Odin gifted her a horse once, and Zeus gifted Nyx a place in the Greek pantheon. She bore her children on Olympus, and bore her grievances there too. Zeus exiled Nyx for warring against him, but then night fell on the whole world, and that gave her power to return. And when she did, she murdered Zeus in revenge. But she was defeated and banished to exile. But Hercules points out, how many times has night fallen on the whole world since then? Thor mentions Blood Hunt, and then of course the King in Black. And he sees Hercules' point. It says they will need help. Loki, who asks after Hercules' partner, Novar. They're currently on a break. And they go to the place where the longest night can be found in midsummer, Antarctica. And so Nyx is there, but there's something she wants more than revenge. Hercules figures it out. Asks Thor, what would the Mother of Night want more than revenge? Well, what would any mother want? The best for her brood. Her twins, Apate and Dolos, have Loki at knife point. And then Oisis, the Worm Daughter who is the spare, attacks Thor. While Hercules must face Hypnos, the god of sleep. But Oisis is brought down by a bolt of lightning. And Apate is ends up slitting the throat of Dolos because of an illusion courtesy of Loki. However, Loki the villain shows up. And yeah, helps defeat Nyx. However, Hercules and Thor are sent elsewhere. Where they are is related to a riddle that was shared by Loki, saying that it's all a test of destruction. But what of a place that's darker and colder? Greater danger lurking. that is where Loki has sent Thor and Hercules. Where they are is where Zeus is. That is where the issue ends. Also, it was noted that Thor owed a favor to Hercules. That will be explained in Giant-Sized Thor later this month. Moving on, though, to our last one for the moment, we've got Black Widow, Venomous. So lately, Black Widow has come into possession of has become the host of a symbiote. She has allied herself with excuse me, Dylan Brock, and will be involved in the Venom War. So the issue begins with Black Widow infiltrating an Alchemax facility. With her symbiote, and she discovers that at least a symbiote is being tortured there, but that causes her symbiote to leave, and so leaving Black Widow without a symbiote, while in the crosshairs of multiple Alchemax guards, who are literally no match for Natasha. But the symbiote apologizes afterwards. And decides... Oh, and apparently there's also a symbiotic perversion of Alchemax science. But Natasha decides that the symbiote is training as Natasha had, basically anticipating the moves of an opponent. And it turns out that Natasha can block her can basically block her thoughts from the symbiote. But initially they try initially things get a little rough, but Natasha realizes that while the symbiote needs training, he doesn't need to have the exact type of training that Natasha had. She can do better, and she will do better. Basically, the symbiote has a lot to learn, but doesn't have to learn the way that Natasha did. And so, using the symbiote, Natasha's bond with the symbiote, she basically creates mental avatars of her most talented friends: Jessica Drew, Hawkeye, Bucky Barnes, Nick Fury, and Coulson. Bucky teaches combat. Nick Fury, well, teaches her spycraft. Jess teaches her about flexibility. Hawkeye, marksmanship. Coulson, how to be unnoticed. However, there's one more test. Natasha and the symbiote take on one another. and Natasha changes the way that the symbiote, basically the costume version of the symbiote, appears, and goes after Alchemax, taking on the symbiote tech and defeating it. And but she also points out that the symbiote, that Natasha and the symbiote are an Avenger, so they can't just go around killing people. However, they take a sample of substance that Alchemax has, and that is where the issue ends. It needs to be continued in the pages of the Venom War. And that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, Mastodon, Patreon, and Payback can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.